Welcome back, everyone. Well, you've heard the phrase, dream big. Boy, have I got proof of this one. We do a lot of interviews here on Look TV, and I can't even tell you, I don't even know where to start this interview, but I'm going to give it a try. Joining me today is Sean Evans. And Sean's son, Seamus, is inflicted with cerebral palsy. And Sean here is a runner. And I'm going to just now ask you to take the reins here and just tell us a little bit about Power2Push, and we'll talk about what you're going to do this July, okay?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Sure. So, Sean, first, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Great to be here.
And tell us a bit about Seamus and this relationship that you have and this desire you have.
Sure. So Seamus was born with cerebral palsy. It primarily affects his legs, so his legs are limited, so he uses a wheelchair as his primary means of mobility.
Right.
As a result, he can't run and play like other kids do, so I provide his legs for him. Mm-hmm. He and I have always run together since I've been a marathon runner his entire life. A few years ago, he asked if he could start running races with me, and that's what we started to do at the Firecracker 4 here in Saratoga in 2013. Shortly after that, I was scheduled to run my first ultra marathon, and Seamus asked if he could run it with me. And at the time, I don't like to say no to him because I want him to be able to try whatever he wants to try. So I said, sure, Seamus, we'll give it a try. And we did, and it was a closed course, just about 3/10 of a mile loop around a park, and you run that loop as many times as you can in 6 hours in this particular race that we ran. Mm-hmm. So I figured if he wanted to take a break, he could and just join my wife for a little while or whatever, but he didn't. He wanted to keep running and running and running with me the whole time. Mm-hmm. 6 hours later, we ended up completing the race. We had run over 45 miles, and we had won. Seamus had won the race. Seamus was always the first person to cross the line when he and I run together, so that's kind of neat. Yeah. And we had won the race, and here I am thinking that's a pinnacle of a running career. I could retire after that. But Seamus had bigger dreams, bigger goals, bigger ambitions, and on the ride home from that race, here I am, tired legs, sore, cramped up, and Seamus says, Dad, what if we ran that far every day for my summer vacation from school? How far could we make it? So my wife and I helped him with the calculations, and we figured we could run over 3,000 miles in the 10 weeks that they have off from school. And he goes, wow, that's a long ways. How far could we go if we ran 3,000 miles? So my wife and I, again, as an exercise to show him, how far that distance was, pulled out a map of the United States and said we could run all the way from this ocean to this ocean. And Seamus goes, we have to do that. I want to run across the country. So that became the family mission.
Sean, again, now you know why I didn't have a way into this interview. It's so inspirational, but some of the things that before we went on air that we were talking about that really struck me, of course, is the absolute amazing relationship that you have with your son. And things that you're saying, like he's the first to cross the finish line or whatever, or hey, Dad, how far can we run? It's 3,000 miles. So, lo and behold, Sean and his wife, Nicole, decided that they were going to map out a course that started in Seattle and in New York. Great thing we were talking about. One toe in the Pacific Ocean and one toe in the Atlantic Ocean.
That's right, and the plan is, Seamus has been training to walk with his walker for distances on the hard-packed sand of the beach. So he's going to start with his toes in the Pacific, walk the first few steps. I'll transfer him into his running chair. Mm-hmm. He'll run with me for the 3,200 miles across the country, and then he'll walk the last few steps into Pelham Bay in the Bronx, New York. So I just have to do the little bit in the middle.
The little bit in the middle. I know, Sean, this is really something. The itinerary, by the way, it starts in Seattle and goes through, oh my God, Missouri, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Minnesota, Illinois, and then points east like Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and then finally into New York. That's, by calculation, a little over 3,000 miles. How many states?
It's 15 separate states, and the neat thing the thing that really sealed the deal to me to want to pursue Seamus's dream was when right around Thanksgiving in 2013, my wife and I were thinking that he would kind of let this idea go. Mm-hmm. But right around Thanksgiving, he said, Dad, when we run across the country, he didn't say if, and he was always saying when. He said, when we run across the country, let's donate chairs to kids like me so that they have the opportunity to run and experience what it's like to run like you and I do together. and that's what sealed the deal for me. So as we travel across the country, we're going to donate at least one running chair in each of the 15 states that we pass through. And we've teamed up with a not-for-profit called Ainsley's Angels that is going to help us fulfill that goal and that part of Seamus's dream.
So this particular endeavor is called Power2Push.
Yes.
And quite literally, by the way, I guess who the power is? That would be you.
You know,
except you want to know something it isn't.
It's not.
It's both of you.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, and people say that, you know, Power2Push, oh, it's all about your leg power, but really it's not. It's really about Seamus's spirit and his inspiration and his motivation for this mission that pushes me along. And it's him. I like to say that it's Seamus pulling me, without a doubt.
And it starts in July.
Yeah, July 4th, we'll kick off the run from Seattle.
And we're going to follow you as much as we can throughout this. A couple of things you can do. Follow the mission. There's a website. We'll give all the information on the website to make certain that people can actually come in. Make a contribution. They're raising funds, not inexpensive, to run across the country.
And the chairs themselves aren't
inexpensive.
Right. You know, there is an expense that comes with the chairs that we're donating to families across the USA as well.
Right.
So that's what some of the fundraising will go to support.
Well, Sean, we'll have you in before again, okay, and also follow you throughout the race. And remember, I started this by saying, dream big, and if you want to believe that anything is possible, this would be it. And I can't wipe the smile off my face. I can't. Sean, this is really terrific.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes. To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.